Hello everyone, Krydax here, and welcome back to Season 3 of pYanodon's. We're working on the Arqad build. We got lots of stuff going on here, and hopefully we'll finish it in this episode. I guess we'll see. You know what hasn't finished? Freaking Valk Mark 2. Cannot believe this. 450 now. No success. I'm flabbergasted here. 450. Let's see how bad it is. 0.995 to the 450. Oh, I guess we're still not quite broken into the 10th percentile for unluckiest SOBs to play pyanodons, but we're getting close. We're getting close. Jeez. And we need 2 of them. So I have to get a second one, which is equally likely to take as long as this one did. Well, when I say equally likely, I just mean we will again have a 10% chance for it to take this long again, or longer. But thankfully, our median expected value... Median expected value. That's not really a statistics phrase, but like, you know, to be right in the middle of all pyanodons players, we would expect 140 more after we get our first one. So we could be close. We might not be. All right, anyway, so we were hooking up all this stuff. We need eggs coming in from that side. Maggots are coming out and being side loaded here. These buildings only run... No, maggots we can just back up, I think. I'm actually okay with that. Yeah. Yeah, I think we just want maggots to back up. Okay, so that's fine, and that means... and I think we don't need a powered inserter here, right? Output is 1.4, 1.8 items over 6. That's 0.3 a building. Yeah, definitely don't need multiple inserters or even powered inserters. The other thing to note is once we have Valk Mark 2s, we can cut down on the number of buildings here. Won't that be nice? Okay, and then this guy. That hooked up. I'm gonna run out of belts any minute here. I'm just gonna let my bots do that. And help out with my shotgun. My trusty shotgun. Okay. So that's done. I guess we need power, don't we? Just run it along this line. That one hits the final building. Get a lamp or 2 going. Oh, that doesn't actually get powered. Which means neither did the other one. Wait, no, that one's definitely powered. Okay. Oh, right. I just am dumb. Okay, there we go. Alright, so that's good, and this is some chaos, isn't it? Ulrichs need to come over. Past that building. There we go. And I already set up the limit. Okay, just want to make sure that doesn't fill an entire sushi belt with Ulrichs. That would be bad. Okay, that's set up. That's set up. Now, honey barreling is going to be a thing, but I don't need to do the barreling right there. So the caging and decaging is being done here. So we're going to have Vrauks on a belt here, which get added there. And this sushi belt gets measured here. And you say Vrauk less than, I don't know, we'll say 50. It might need to be more than that. We're going to be eating 0.25 a second to make nests on a belt that is going to be 70, but it's going to be like triple this length. So 210, we'll call it 250. 250 belts means 250 items would be about 2 items a second, so I need about 25 items to get 0.2 items a second, which really 0.18. So 50 items a second should be about 0.36 Vrauks, so maybe to be safe we'll go with like 80, but that should be about right. And then this will load in the Vrauks, cage Vrauks 0.419 a second at max rate, so that should be plenty fast. And then we will need some fuel for this guy. So I might even, heck, I might even do biomass requested on bots, just so we don't have to belt it. That will make things handy. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. Cages will go in here. Cage Vrauks will go in there, but I'm not ready yet, so I won't hook that up. Or plug them in, or put them in. Am I out of trains? Is that all that is? Yeah, okay. That's fine. We can add more depots, by the way. Once I set up a refueling station, which I probably will do at some point, I might even add a super rare extra. I might add stations right here as well. And then we can make a refueling station. And then at that point, we don't need to have the fuel at the depots. And then I can easily make depots in other places. Like I could make a depot up here. I could make a depot over here. And then we have trains waiting in different spots, which is really nice. It'll actually shorten the delivery time of different resources. So adding trains is actually a pretty easy thing with CyberSend, since you don't need to fuel them in the same spot. Okay, so the food, the Vrauk, the cone, empty cone, Arqad. Okay. We're getting there. So let's make our honey barreler over here somewhere. And the Vrauk food? What are we doing with that? I think we were delivering that via bot. Yes. Yes. So the bots will bring the food. And the inserter will say Vrauk food less than 80. That is the correct thing, right? Yeah, I think so. Vrauk food less than 80. Maggots are coming on this side, and those get loaded. Maggots less than... That needs to be, what, 4 times the amount? 5 times the amount, so 400. Why don't we put maggots on the other side? No, that's fine. Say 450. Is that going to be too much? 400 maggots? Well, I'm thinking on the final belt is the problem. This is a shortened version. Because 400 on this belt might actually be too many. That'll fill 100 belts. Though, it's not going to be too bad. So what I could do is just, for now, just kind of do, you know, some extra belting. You know, come on, Krydax, you're better than that. I have plenty of belts and inserters and power poles. Why don't we do this right? set this up correctly and just copy this part, because that's the part we actually are going to have. And how many more sets? 16 total. So this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Oh god. 16. Build is huge. Is there gonna be enough room for 22 of these? I think so. Wait. 12, 18, 22. Yeah, I think there will be. Gosh, this is a big build. Anyway, let's get all this built. And beep, connect back around. That's good. And then, what do we got? So we've handled maggots, Vraux, food. Arqad food is being requested. And we just need honey barrels. Honey barrels don't give a... And then honey barrels... I don't know how many total, but that should be more than fast enough. So then output-wise, we're going to have nests out. And why don't we limit the buildings? Again, it's easier to limit buildings than inserters, just because of the connection distances and stuff, and I think it looks cleaner. So if we're dealing with stuff that doesn't spoil, I prefer to limit the building itself rather than anything else. So we'll limit based on Arqad nest, and it makes one at a time only. Now there's only one nest recipe, right, for now? Yeah. It makes one at a time only. So if all 20, so if there's like 40 on the belt, we're golden. And then we're putting items onto different sides of the belt. Do I care about that? I don't think so. Maybe I should. This one's going to be on the same side as the maggot, so maybe we should shorten this one. Okay, just in case. So that's done. And then honey barrels. Split off. Honey, some go this way. And they'll have to load onto the other side. Why don't we get to where the wire can reach? Honey barrel. That can also just be 80. That's everything, right? No, empty combs. Empty combs are still needed. Okay. Getting there, we're getting there. Alright, honey. Get the honey hooked up. Which is where? Here? Okay. Honey's hooked up. Honey barreling's here. We need to pull empty barrels off, which should be coming at a rate of 0.25 a second, so a single inserter is more than enough. And then we want to collect... Again, I think I want the buffer to be empty barrels. So why don't we have like a... We'll probably have the other ones feed into here. We've got a lot of empty barrels coming in from different places. So the empty barrel buffer here. That's for Vraux. Feed in, power. we go. Sweet. Okay, what's left? There's still so much to do, isn't there? Let's see. So that's looking a little better. This one needs to be powered, but it really doesn't because that's just grub food, which is really slow. That needs biomass to be provided. This is for honey barrels. So I think everything's set up. The empty barrel recycling, the Arqad nest, we're limiting based on that. I need to copy it to all the buildings. Maggots don't need to be limited. Maggots are good. These are good. Except for combs. Combs still need to be fed in. Where are combs coming from? Combs come from... Combs comes from one of these guys. And extra wax. But used combs come from whatever's using up the nests. So that's going to be over here somewhere. So these guys make used comb, and I think this one makes... No, that's the egg making. Are we still missing one more recipe? We have that one. We have that one. Yeah, the actual Arqad recipe is still not accounted for in all of this. There's still a whole nother 22 that we will need somewhere. Good God. So I think I'm gonna move the queen cycling to like over here or something. So that we have room right here for the actual Arqad production. Let's see, because the nests are needed for actual Arqad production and for queen production. So maybe I should put queen production right next to these. And then these, though, I feel like should be logistics enabled. Because then we can keep an exact count of how many queens we have. I think that's handy. So I do think I'm gonna just do request provide on these. And then just this kind of basic idea. Boom, boom. And then these buildings will only be running if queen count. We do need to connect to logistics. I just realized we don't need wires for that. Queen in storage is less than 2. 2 is a pretty safe spot. I mean, technically 3 is like infinitely safer. So we'll build up to an army of 3 queens that are in providing chests, which means extra queens. What's tricky is if we have a requester for queens somewhere, we want to request only 1 queen. But then it's gonna unload that queen and then it's gonna want another one. So there's already gonna be 1 buffered in the request system. So this can go back down to 2. Because that'll be 2 extras on top of the 1 or 2 that are already being cycled. So that's more than enough extra queenage, I think. Now why is that not bringing up? Uh-oh. Oh, do we have to have a roboport nearby for those to notice that they're... I'm a bit worried that buildings... Logistic network channel can't change buildings networks. Shoot. Let's just measure something like maggots. Does it see as having maggots? Frick. That might be for the best. We can always read the contents of a channel 1 roboport. And then just pass that. Because the nice thing is that doesn't change the force of the building, which we've already discovered has, you know, some negative effects sometimes. Okay. So that'll do the same, effectively the same thing. Now, the requests are all set. Okay, so queen production is a go. Natural gas barrels go to those 3 places. Okay. Arqad honey barrels also go to making... eggs. I feel like I should actually do the eggs next. And then maybe we'll do the Arqads last. We'll do the eggs right here. I'll do the red hot coke on the west side of all this nonsense, because that's just annoying. But yeah, the whole queen situation, so interesting. So we're gonna have, I think we're mostly gonna buffer things, and then we're gonna have a single requester chest, request 1 queen. But then we're gonna have some sort of situation like this. We'll make it a merry-go-round for effect. And then this will only put a queen on the merry-go-round if there is no queen on the merry-go-round, in the buildings, or on the inserters. So these are gonna read, hold, read, hold, read, hold, read, include in crafting. So that should mean that the queen that's being utilized is still counting. So then we also need to measure one last thing, which is the output inserters, which will be filtered on queen. Why don't I just make these powered so they don't miss anything? So these need to be read, hold. Filter queen. Filter queen, use filters, use filters. Okay, so that should mean every possible place a queen could be is being accounted for. Except for, no, it is reading the contents, because that does include products and trash slots and stuff. So it'll be counting the queen that's being there, and then it'll immediately count the queen there. Then as soon as this inserter grabs it, it'll count it there. I mean, per tick, we need to care about every tick being accounted for. It's all being accounted for. The queen is being measured always. And this will only be enabled if queen is less than 2. and we will override stack size for when we get that upgraded. So it'll make sure there are 2 queens in circulation. The problem is these are gonna buffer an extra queen. They're gonna want to buffer extra queens. So then I need these inserters. I don't think there's a way to do this. I could have you only enabled if queen is 0. But the problem is it's gonna add together the green and the red signal for that. I have no way to say if queen on. So I would have to do, how much do I care about this? I mean, eventually I'll just end up having, how many queens? What's the automated insertion limit? 2. So I'll end up with 6 queens in circulation here. Maybe that's fine, to be honest. That does make me feel like I can reduce this, though, down to 1. I'm just gonna go with that. I could make it so that I would need combinators. I would measure what's in this building with a red circuit, measure what's in that one with a red circuit, and then I would make like a 1 symbol or a 2 symbol for that one, so they would have different conditions to run. But we're mixing the queen signals to measure the total, so I can't set them separately, unfortunately. Okay, that's fine. Roboport is hitting all of those. Channel 1. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Now, why is, what's going on here? Oh, that's not filtered. Empty barrel. That's problem number 1. Problem numero uno. Okay. Well, that fixes that problem. I also don't have a mixer. I think I'm okay with that. The rates are so low on everything. I don't think a mixer is going to be required. Now, the queens also need barrels, which they will be requesting. Or I could just belt those over. Didn't mean to. Oof, caught it just in time. I don't know what codex I just tried to craft. I could put honey and natural gas on barrels on a thing, and then we can output all the empty barrels onto one belt. That actually could work, because these are kind of roughly the same size. So maybe we do that, where that's honey barrel, natural gas barrel, and then we can feed barrels in from this belt. Like this. And then I'll put them back on to some belt somewhere. Okay, so that handles input barrels, and then I'm thinking output barrels can be here. Nope, it's there. Ah! Long. Okay, so this is empty barrels. And I definitely need to filter that. Okay, so empty barrels are taken care of on both of these, and we need natural gas barrels coming in from this side. Okay, goodness. And then we're gonna have, the queens are taken care of. And the used combs. Hold on. Maybe we also put the used combs on the belt. And we'll also get them from this process over here. And all of those used combs will go back. Wait, are those lossy? Oh god, I can't remember now. Wait a second. So the nest... No, the nest uses regular empty combs, which are lossy. Yes, okay. So we use a regular empty comb to make a nest, and then a nest... But we also used some amount of honeycomb to make maggots. That's right. So there's some comb wrapped up in these maggots. Well, we actually know exactly how much. There's point... No, we get the used comb back. Why am I so confusing myself? The Vrauk process... That's this one. Yeah, okay, no, we had that set up. Okay, good. The Vrauk maggot process does not use any combs. It's weird. It uses just the honey from the combs, but rather than using a honey barrel, it uses the honeycomb as a sort of barrel itself. And it's kind of returning the empty barrel, but we need to melt it down and reform it to turn it back into an actual empty barrel to fill back up with wax. Okay, so that is a closed process. So there are no combs are harmed in the making of Arqad maggots. But then we do harm combs in the making of this, because we have the empty combs turn into an Arqad nest, and then the Arqad nests are used both to make queens and to make Arqads. And the queen making process, where is it? This one does return a full used comb, and so does the regular Arqad process. But the used comb doesn't end up making enough wax to make an empty comb. So you are a little lossy when you melt it back down. It's actually not when you melt it back down and it makes the full 10 wax, but then... Oh, is that wrong? That doesn't matter. The important part is I'm considering putting the used comb onto here as well. That's what I'm saying. That way we're not moving it with logistics bots. So I don't think I need to, because at this point we already have this belt, and now all I have to do is just sort it. Empty barrels go to the right. And then that means we've got used combs right here, which will also be coming from the left. And we can plug those into another melter, high pressure furnace. Which is... Okay, so I was right. It's not lossy on the melting side. It's lossy on the production side. I don't know why I made another one of those. Oh, maybe I did need one. I don't know. Either way, that will go into a casting unit, which then is going to make the regular combs again, which is over here right now, but move that. And I'm going to give a space here. So then the casting unit. Right here. I can just plug them in directly. That one doesn't need hot air, while the other one does. Don't understand that. But yeah, we only get 8/10 back. We get 80% back. So we use 20% of a comb per usage in a nest. That's the bottom line for all this. And then those combs are only needed in one place and one place only, which is the nest making process, which is this loop. So those combs need to go over here, and those can get loaded because the maggots are taking up most of the outside. I'm gonna load them onto this one, onto the inside. So this is empty comb is less than 80. It's the same number as the rest, right? 80 empty comb. Yeah, it's the same as the other 4 things, so that's good. So empty combs are set up for there. The used combs are set up from the queen production, but they're not belted properly yet. So they need to be here and fed in. But this process is lossy, and we will need additional wax eventually. And that's the only place the empty combs go. But it's not the only place used combs come from. They also come from over here. So let's get a lot of this undone. What is this? Train out of fuel. That should not be happening. Oh. We had fuel on this belt and it stopped. Apparently. Let's follow it back. Why is this belt dead? Well, I see why. I don't know exactly what happened here, but that should fix it. But I am gonna have to go manually refuel up that train for a minute. Just over here. I'm really enjoying setting up this Arqad loop. I know it's kind of nuts, but I actually really am having fun. It is a lot to wrap your mind around. And I do think we're still spaghettiing it a little bit, but it's much better spaghetti than last time. And we're actually, you know, creating the proper number of buildings, which helps. Anyway, you need fuel, so let's give you some... What? Why can't I... Oh, my inventory's right here? Oh, that's so weird to me that our inventory doesn't open in the middle of the screen. Here, I have some treated wood. Hopefully that's enough to get your trip done. I just realized it might not be. I guess we'll see if it runs out of fuel again. Wait, what's this? That doesn't sound correct. Did I break big power poles? Concrete was limited. Damn. Okay. We can fix that real quick because we're still here. So what I will do is I will go grab some concrete and feed it in. I mean, our previous solution lasted a long time, so I'm not too worried about this not lasting a long time either. And by the time we run out again, I'm guessing we will have set up big power poles on the auto mall. Alright, so we put concrete into you. Yeah, I mean, it's 250 big poles per stack of concrete, so that is a lot. That is a lot. Alright, back to Arqad's. Nice little train ride. Okay, here we are. Arqad eggs. So then the last thing we will need is going to be... Let me get all these ulrichs off the belt. And then... yeah, I'll put all the ulrichs in the ulrich chest here. And Vraux maybe as well. Okay, so ulrichs are already hooked up. Let's get our pinned thing back. See, people talk about using YAFC, and not having this would be really rough. Obviously, if you have a second monitor open, that's kind of close to the same thing. But I really like having this. The only thing it's missing is the ability to create a constant combinator with all of these things already grouped together. Apparently Factory Planner has that, and that would be really nice. Okay, so the last thing is setting up one more pair. I'm gonna deconstruct this, and I'm gonna move this up here so it's out of the way. One more pair of buildings. There's no spoilables involved, so I could do sushi. And this is another 22 in a row situation. But I want to leave room for more train stops here if we need them. At least one or two more. So why don't I start these here? Maybe I'll start... Do I want to... Oh, God. Where is this happening? Up here. So the reason it's happened is because the wood still hasn't gotten here. It just got here, apparently. So next time the train comes, it should get loaded up. Alright, playing fuel rats. Delivering fuel to you. It's out of reach. Alright, get a little closer. This time I put... Do I have fiber? 33 logs should be fine. Okay, anyway, back to being... I was thinking I could do 4 by side, and then I'd only need like 5 in a row that way. Yeah, I might just do that. Then I can also change the sushi loop to go down one and up the other. So we will have to shift this a little bit. Okay, so then now we've got a pretty simple situation. Can we? I feel like we run into this exact thing every time. I think we can if I utilize double underground belts, because we're going to need 2 power poles and then 4 inserters, and it just doesn't work. Maybe when I have red belts it'll finally work, but it just doesn't work otherwise. So then we need to take from both and then feed into both. Like so. But then we need to power all the inserters, which this is. Okay, so that should work. I'm gonna disconnect these for now. And then this will be rotated, so that'll be the sushi belt coming back up. And we're gonna have 22 of these. And it's not that recipe, it's this recipe. No, it's this recipe. Wait, what? Oh no. This is the one with Red Hot Coke. That's fine. That's fine. In fact, that actually makes me more confident in my sushi loop decision. I don't have the correct one selected here though. What is up with me doing that wrong? That actually affects all the numbers. Shoot. Why did I not pick this one? .233 nest, 0.186 nest. Yeah, that's so much better. Okay, well, honestly, I'm kind of glad we did it the other way, and it uses way less Ralasia per Arqad too. So that helps. Okay. The good news is we only need 8 now for this. And 12 for that. We still need a bunch for honey. It doesn't really change the honey requirement that much, but wow, that really changed things. I bet some of you noticed that and you were like, Krydax, no. I feel kind of stupid right now. Well, the good news is we can extend this pretty easily later. Just do that. Of course, I'm out of belts and almost out of inserters and almost out of pipes. All right, gotta go fill some things up here. I'm worried we're gonna need to use cDNA to get another queen. But I'm just praying that our luck can be good and we can get a queen without doing that. The problem is if I don't, then I'm gonna have to do a whole new setup for, you know, it'd be better if I got things rolling now just to be safe. But I really don't want to have to do that. Alright, get a bunch of these. Done. Get chests. Done. Get air cores. Whatever, we're good on that. Radars. Where are belts? Belts. Undergrounds. Splitters. And power poles. Lamps. I'm gonna call that good enough for now. Oh, inserters. Inserters are here. Yeah, get 50 of those. Or I mean 100 and then 150. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so it's nice to know. Wait, why didn't this update? Do we have to reopen it? There we go. Okay, so we're gonna need the Red Hot Coke to be on the sushi loop, which means we're gonna have to pull regular Coke off. That should be fine. I'm not really worried about that. Okay, and we'll leave room here for trains. This is technically in the way of trains. So, sushi loop will be like here. Alright, so there's that. And then we'll need to load all sorts of things. 6 different ingredients and 3 different ingredients out. So there's a lot going on there. Thankfully, I don't need to set that one up quite yet. I actually want to get everything else running first. And I don't even need to set the queen one up yet either. But the queen one already has the input barrels and output barrels set up. And the queen output set up. So all we need now is maggot output. Which I'm feeling like I should also put on this belt, to be honest. Because we wanted the maggots... Where were the maggots being loaded? Or the eggs, I mean. The eggs were this belt. So this is the egg belt. And the eggs only go to one place, as far as I'm aware. So then the eggs could be here. So then instead of barrels left, it should be used comb, or barrels right, it should be used comb left. And then that way, we've also got the eggs going right here. Perfect. And then barrels go that way. And now these offloaders needs to be eggs and barrels on those 3. Perfect. Okay, so I think that fixes that. So we've got those 2 in and queen in and those 3 out. So now we just need Arqad, Ralasia, and Red Hot Coke in. But we need a queen before this can even run. So I'll handle that maybe in the next episode. For now, I'd like to see if we can get a couple things running. Because we're really close to being able to do that. So the first thing I want to do is get all the proper things in my inventory. I'll let Tim and Ginny recharge here. And which belt was Arqad's? This one? So I very much could have Arqad's on the same belt. Or Vrok's on the same belt, I mean. No! Hey now. Don't go mixing. Don't go mixing animals on me. So we can actually just leave this the way it is. So then that gets Vrok's hooked up. We're gonna need to do natural gas barreling. I'm not really thinking about that quite yet. I will hold on to the honey barrels though. And then we need to grab all of the honeycomb related things. Maggots, Arqads. Let me clear those out for a moment here. I just need to get stuff running. So where do the combs go? Combs go on this belt. So let's emulate that. Put this right here. So that's where the combs go. Empty combs, that is. And then those are going to get loaded on. And then the maggots will be the outputs from these buildings. Again, we can simulate that. So there's maggots. And then the barrels... Did we set up honey barreling? We did. That's right here. So then Arqad honey barrels go out there. And they're being split for now. Which is gonna be fine eventually. And then the Arqads are already hooked up and then Vrok food, or Vrok's already hooked up and Vrok food is already hooked up. It's so weird that you're feeding Vrok. Okay, now I think I understand some of my brain confusion. I hadn't pegged this before. We're feeding Vrok food to Arqad maggots. Or maybe it's just Vrok food to keep the Vrok alive while the maggots can grow within the Arqad. I don't know exactly what that is representing, but the idea there is weird that you're putting Vrok food into an apiary hydrocarbon plant. You'd think it would go into this one, but it doesn't. Okay, anyway, caged Vroks now can be hooked up here. And if I have any eggs, I don't think I have any eggs. And we do have a bunch of honeycombs. So I'm just gonna simulate that by putting in these outputs. I have a single empty honeycomb. And we do need the hot air to be hooked up. That's easy enough. And that's this one. Okay, so hot air is hooked up, and then what was the other thing I was just about to do? Oh, the biomass provide. Yeah. So now we can provide some biomass. Did we need biomass as an ingredient for something? Yeah, for the Arqads. So I'm fine belting it as well, but we also should just throw some in a provider chest here on channel 1. And we need a channel 1 roboport. Okay, so then that should... Are there any bots? There are 9. Why are they not picking some up? Oh, that one's also out of network. Okay, so we need another channel 1. Over here. Okay, so now, there we go. Now they're delivering to there. And get our Vroks out of here. The nest making is happening Are we outputting the nests anywhere? Aha, that's what we're not doing. The nests are meant to be, well, delivered via bot for that. I guess just bots in general for nest delivery should be fine. It's a really low throughput, and they're made all the way over here and used all the way over here. So I think that's a good use case, I would say. So we'll do a provide chest for Arqad nests. And then that will just limit itself to 1 stack. Okay, so those are running. This is working. It's working. It's working. And then those will go and get delivered to these guys. And now we need to be barreling up. Well, how's honey production going, first of all? That should be running, yeah. Okay, good. So honey barreling is also set up. Right, okay, so we need more empty barrels. And this can just split, that's fine. I may need to go grab some more empty barrels just to make sure we have enough. So why don't we grab a few hundred more of those. And then we're getting there, we're getting there. Hopefully we can roll a queen and get lucky. And then once we've rolled a queen, we can set up the Arqad production. I might get it prepared in the next episode, but I won't actually turn it on yet because we just need all of our efforts to go into queen making right now. But yeah, why don't I just grab a few more barrels? I don't think I need more cages. I believe we already had plenty. But yeah, let's just grab 400 barrels and call it a day. It's good to know our train system is starting to feel the burn. Yeah, I'm gonna need a lot more trains. That is the cost of 1-1 trains. We decided a long time ago that 1-1 trains is what we're gonna use, but that does make for more trains in motion at any given time. It reduces buffer sizes by a lot, which is great. It makes stations a lot smaller, which is great. I'm still happy we made that choice, but it is worth noting that yes, it does mean we'll need more actual trains running around. What did I come here to do? Barrels. Barrels. Alright. There's a lot of barrels. So now the honey making is in full swing. Cool. And then, do we have enough empty honeycombs? No, why does that one not have any? Because when this made, something's gone wrong. Oh, right, because the honeycombs are going down here. And we don't have any eggs. Right, so we are going to be buffering a bunch on this belt. But once it's backed up, that's just a one-time cost, so I'm not super worried about that. But I don't have any eggs right now, do I? We just had a bunch of maggots. I don't have any more Arqad pieces, right? Oh, I do have a few eggs. And I have a few more honey barrels. Might as well get rid of that Vrauk food. The rest of this is just kind of trashy stuff. Alright, so Vrauk food can just go in there. Will not waste any Vrauks. And then, yeah, I mean, it's not enough maggots to actually run anything. Okay, so we are just hoping and praying that these queens are enough. Okay, so now the final thing I need is natural gas barrels. Which... oh, shoot. So what we're gonna have to do is also barrel natural gas right here. Or, wait, how do I want to do this? Because these are barrels that are... I don't love this idea, but here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna request the barrels over here for the natural gas. And as long as we have enough total barrels in the system, it should be fine. Empty barrel, 50. At least for now, we'll do it this way. I might think of a better solution when we hook up all the other stuff. Okay. I also need a few more logistic spots. Did we pick any up? No, I guess not. Okay, so there's those. What am I trying to do? That's what I'm trying to do. And then they go that way. Okay, now let's grab all the maggots that we have. Place them in one. Perfect. One more nest. One more chance at a queen. And now we have no Arqads to actually run the queen making process. Okay, so we'll stop these two. I guess we'll do 3. All right, well, this is it. I mean, I don't know how many rolls for queens we get, but it's not many. However many nests we have here, 27. Plus 3, this is about 35 rolls. Maybe a few more buffered. 40. Okay, that is the median. So we got about a 50-50 shot if we make no more. God, I cannot believe we lost our first queen that early. Definitely gotten some bad luck. Alright, you know, I think I'm willing to spend, or I should say waste. The risk is that I waste some resources, and I think I'm willing to waste some resources to make some more Arqads now. So I'll go ahead and make 10 sets. God, that still is not very many. The chance to get a queen is so low. But each cDNA produced Arqad is 2 nests worth, so 10 sets is 2 rolls, right? But it's just so crazy. Because didn't I need 5? I'm like already forgetting how this works. I think I needed 5 Arqad codices per, or 6 codices per roll. So if I wanted to do 10 more, I need 60. Oh my god, 60 Arqad codices, which needed like a bunch of lamps, a bunch of tin cable, and a bunch of, was it circuits? And glass, yes. Okay. All right. 10, 20, 30, 40. I don't know what I need more of. 50, 60. Oh, 1 lamp short. All right, I'll grab those lamps. And I had about the right amount of tinned cable. My random guesstimations were accurate. Okay, and then I need, what is it, 3 cDNA per, I think. Yeah, 3 cDNA per. So I need 30 cDNA. go. And then a bunch of automation science. Switch this over to B, DNA samples. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and the rest will go into here, which gets switched over to Arqad. There's our 30 whatevers. I'm gonna need 10 generic Earth DNA samples. And then we're gonna need, how many biosamples? I don't know. 50. Okay, so that's done. I do have 100 eggs and 10 Arqads. Wow, I forgot about that. Okay, so I already have 10. Nice, I have 10 more, and then I'm gonna make 10 more here. Do I have enough automation science? 100 per, I need 1,000. I actually need a little bit more. So that's another 40 rolls at Queen on top of the, what did I say I had? 45, so that gives me like 80 plus rolls. Okay, that's, now I'm getting into the decently likely territory. If I have 80 rolls for Queen, you would have to be, I guess that's still 44th percent. Yeah, that's not as good as I hoped. Okay. Wait, was I think I was doing my head math wrong. I think I was doubling down twice. Yeah, because Queen is just a 1% chance, right? Yeah, so we need 70 rolls to be 50-50 to get a Queen. I was thinking making 35 sets of Arqads. That's what it would be. Okay, dang. But this is going to get me 40 rolls, and I already have about 40 rolls. Okay, we're still only going to be about 50-50. That's not very good, to be honest. But at least we've got this automated. We'll wait until these are done crafting. Then I should be able to leave it alone. Oh man, I cannot believe we lost the Queen that soon. Oh, it's such a bummer. Such a bummer. Yeah, I mean, there's just nothing you can do about it, though. And still failing on the Vrauk Mark II front. It's just my luck. Just my luck. What are we up to now? 486? Keeps growing. It really is crazy. Okay, and the last Codex. 50. Perfect. Okay, so this is gonna take half an hour, but it will get us 10 more. I think it'll take half an hour anyway. No, it'll take like a full hour. Okay, I'm glad we started that now. And this is still belted properly. Yeah. So we started that now, that's belted properly, and that's gonna get us 20 more rolls at Queen. I maybe should do more than that, but I have an hour to decide if I want to, because that'll run for an hour before I need to give it more ingredients. So I've given it an hour's worth of food for thought. That gives us an hour to hopefully roll a Queen. Goodness, this is nuts. And I mean, these are the first two big luck-based things I did. I feel like I got the first Queen fairly luckily, but then that luck is very much canceled out by how quickly we lost it. How many productions did I get? You know, it's got a 0.1% chance to get lost, and I didn't even get 100 out of it. I didn't even get 10% of the expected value. I mean, didn't we do the math? What was it? I don't see it in the history, but it was 0.999 to the power of something. I mean, heck, even if we had 100 rolls, that's still, if you lose the Queen after 100, that's the top 10 percentile of losers, or you could say the bottom 10% of people. And I'm pretty sure we got less than that. We didn't even get 100. I think we got like 30 or something. It was really bad. I don't remember. So that luck very much canceled out, and at this point, I think I'm well below average in terms of being screwed over. I'm just gonna put all the eggs in one basket, quite literally. Though, what I should do is put them in this basket, because this one has access to the honeycombs. Okay, I guess I do need more cages. I hadn't thought about the wanting to buffer a bunch of them. So I probably need like 200 more cages. Oh, let me put... I do have 10 more Arqads. I could put some in there. What just happened? Oh, I had exactly 10. That's right. Okay, well... we also need more used comb. Which right now... wait, right now what's happening? When we make a nest, and then the nest gets used here, then the used comb is going to here. And we're turning that into... I actually don't want this. For right now, what I want is this to go to making actual honeycombs. That won't always be the case, but for right now it's the case. Because I can support making more empty combs with the other method, and we need to get a big buffer of honeycombs going. So right now, all of our used combs will go to... was that really one tile too short? It was. All of our used combs will go to making the honeycomb comb. Oh, and hot air's not hooked up to this one. Perfect. Okay. Good thing we noticed that and can address it. There we go. And then it looks like we're out of honey. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna need a lot more empty comb situation. For right now, I'm kind of curious what I should do about this, because I just have way too many going this direction. Maybe... maybe what I do is I limit this guy to, like... 20 on this belt or something. Or even 10. The problem is the eggs are going to go into this one first. But I guess these are all buffered. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, let's... there's where all our combs have gone. There's 40 more. Because we just need the honey right now. For honey barrels. Okay, well... hoping for a queen. Would it be easy to set an alarm? I guess we're measuring all of these things. I think it would. Alright, so that should give us an alert when we achieve our first queen. I just want to make sure, one more time, that we're not, like, missing something. Nope. Okay. These guys are rolling. They're rolling. We'll get one eventually. Okay, well, we're gonna call it an episode there. Everything is running at this point. We just need to feed more Arqad eggs in and more of the empty combs, which I guess the last thing we'll do before we really call it an episode. is double check that we have empty comb production. It might have been out of ash is why I want to double check. Because we might need another few hundred empty combs produced this way. And then we can set up the tufra to sugar to empty comb thing. Or I guess it's sugar in a barrel makes wax. Which is so funny because it's like there's all these other complicated steps of the process, and then there's like, wait, just putting sugar in a barrel and it magically turns into wax while it's inside the barrel? You know, like, that feels a little weird, doesn't it? So it is kind of funny how some things are really complex in this mod and some things are not so much complex. Okay, we're actually out of coal dust. Oh, it's already got a bunch of ash. Okay. Well, why don't I grab a little bit more ash? I don't know how much. We'll grab 1 stack. I guess I can grab more than 1 stack. And then I'll grab some more coal dust. Because I just want this to go for a while. Who knows how many we'll need. There's your ash. Oh god, that's... Oh, it's... I didn't realize we get more than 1 comb per ash. So we very much did not need that much ash. 3,000 ash is going to be like 5,000 combs. Cool. Alright, that's fine. And then we're going to head back over to grab some coal dust. We'll do that, and then we will call it an episode. I know this was a long one, but this will feel like a good stopping point. And then I can check off Arqad actual build, and we can add Arqad combs from sugar, or maybe just tufra to wax, tufra to sugar. Put that on the list. Of course a train had to come here at that exact moment. What are the odds? Alright, and then we'll do that in the next episode, and then we'll set up the full loop as well of all the Arqad stuff. So that way, once we have a queen, we'll still focus on getting more queens until we have 2 or 3 of them. And then at that point, we can go to full bore production of Arqads. What's crazy is statistically, it's still possible, even if you have 6 queens, for the whole thing to fail. It's not likely. It's extremely, you know, you'd win. We're talking like lottery winnings levels of unlikelihood. But it is possible, which I think is kind of funny. And I do have 357 empty combs, so I probably don't even need more than this. This is probably going to be enough. The problem with this is that we need the Arqad maggots to do the loop, or the eggs. So we'll only be able to make more combs once we have a bunch more eggs from making cDNA Arqads and such. Alright. So then we'll load all those into... Where did they go? I guess they just go onto this belt for now. We haven't finished setting that up. Because right now we're recycling all combage into honeycombs. Okay. That works. Sweet. I mean, it's running. We'll get a queen eventually. And at least for now, I'm going to remove this. I wish you have to click all of these individually. Okay. Still need more honey barrels, which shouldn't be happening. Why is that happening? Got a lot making honey now, so we should be okay. But it's possible we don't have the right ratios here. 0.011 nests, 0.017 nests. Yeah, I mean, I probably don't need... I'm gonna take these 10 and make them on honey. I seem to remember we needed a bunch on honey. We'll get another honey bun running. And we'll call it an episode there. As always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next one.